This is Christine Salzman from Business Today Egypt, and today with us is Mohamed Ghaith from founder and CEO of Zoo, a software as a service startup in Egypt, and currently with serving 64 countries. Am I correct in that?
Yes, Christine, you're correct. I apologize if the internet was not clear at the beginning. I didn't hear a little bit of what you said. But yes, we are at the moment have clients from 64 countries who are using our systems. Yes.
So first off, could you tell us a little bit more about your company and its services that it provides?
Yes, absolutely. Zio, what we do is that people call us Shopify for delivery, basically. So any business could start offering delivery to their customers immediately while using our platform. Everything is fully automated. You go to our website, sign up, your store is created, and you upload your products and start selling. And afterwards, if you'd like to grow more, you can order client ordering apps, and they are already connected to your store, and you can also order courier apps and already connected to your store, and you can also order store management and inventory app that is connected to your store. So the full system is fully ready, and it's a drag and drop from inside the admin dashboard, and that way we were able to serve so many industries, from the food delivery to grocery delivery to pharmacy delivery, even gift delivery and more.
Okay, that's great. And of course, with the pandemic ongoing, delivery became a large thing, not just in Egypt, where delivery is already almost 24/7, but you serve countries in Europe where delivery isn't usually a very big thing. It's not something that's extremely popular and easily available. How has the pandemic affected you and your clients?
Sure. Well, the pandemic, fortunately, was kind of in our favor from the business side, is that it narrowed the focus to actually getting everything done without having to meet people in face to face. And of course, with all the restrictions and everything, all the businesses who depended before on the walk-in customers in the stores had to actually start offering their services online. And therefore, most of these business owners are not tech savvies, and it will take them a lot of time to actually build those delivery systems. That's where we came in, and with our system, it's ready, just few clicks, and the business owner will have his own website and so on. And then they start to retain their customers. They start to reach out to their customers and tell them that, hey, you can now order our services that we used to give you while you walk in, but now you can do it online. And then they started to retain the customer and also start to push specific deals and more offers for them to get the sales. And I could see the growth is that once we receive a new business owner, we see the acceleration. Within few days, we see so many signups from his clients just coming in to his platform, which became his medium that he communicate with them, and that's where he starts selling it.
And do you feel like there was a difference between Europe and the Egyptian side on how the pandemic affected the different countries and the different consumers?
Well, definitely. Of course, in the Europe and Egypt, the market size in Egypt is huge, and we have kind of monopoly for few marketplaces that are handling the whole scene. But at the same time, also most of the orders that comes to Egypt for those stores are mostly by the phone or by WhatsApp. So clients are still, like, the client base of a specific store are still having the direct contact or direct relation with the store. And to tackle this problem from our side is that we created the voice ordering feature. So instead of you actually calling the store, you can just send them a voice note from the app of the store. So we have done that, and it went really well in the Middle East, that people were actually using it a lot. Like, instead of calling the store, he was just sending him a voice note from the store app and telling me, I need this, I need that. And it went really well. And of course, the volume of consuming goods in the Middle East, or specifically in Egypt, is much bigger than it happens in Europe, definitely. Besides, the unbanked sector of people who doesn't have a credit card to actually purchase something online is much bigger in the Middle East than in Europe. So
yes,
most of the transactions and most of the payments, most of the orders that happens in the Middle East and Egypt, but particularly, happens on cash on delivery kind of operations. Some of course happen with the card, but mostly it's cash on delivery and so on. So we tackled those challenges by actually tailoring the product to the Middle East and tailoring another product to Europe, and also tailoring another product to Latin America. Latin America is totally different than everywhere else, and
And
we
how's
had to.
that? Mm-hmm.
Payment systems in Latin America are so different. Like in order for you to actually enter this market, you have to integrate with local payment system provider to be able to collect credit card payments. And also they still face the same problem of cash on delivery. Wherever there are operations on cash on delivery, you always have margin of error in so many things that could
Yeah.
go wrong, because the courier will need to carry the cash, you need to pay to the store and then return collect for customer. So this cycle in Europe, it doesn't exist, because in Europe everybody pays online using credit card. So we eliminated the cash option in the whole thing.
Well, in Egypt specifically, since the beginning of the pandemic in Egypt, there have been a lot of government initiatives that has pushed e-payment opportunities and solutions for not just A-class or affluent people in Egypt, but also for people that are like in remote villages and etc. Have you seen a difference in consumer behaviors moving from cash and delivery to online payments in terms of Egypt since the beginning of the pandemic, or do you feel like it's almost the same?
Well, the thing is that it's still the banking sector of Egypt is still very active in terms of that purchasing things online and buying things online and everything. And we still see the growth from the unbanked sector going to the banking sector by actually having accounts and trying to use technology on a day-to-day and daily basis and so on. I can see the growth in this, and I see that a lot of Egyptian platforms actually started to become head-to-head with the foreign platforms in Egypt. We have a lot of platforms, of course, that are very strong right now. Also raised millions in funding. So I see us growing in this sector, that becoming better services, like not we as a Zeo, but also like other competitors, is that the quality of service, the customer acquisition strategies, the growth, we see a lot of knowledge and experiences actually with us in the market, head to head with the foreign companies.
Okay. And other than e-payments and paying cash on delivery, etc., what kind of differences in consumer behaviors, not just both on your client side and their consumers, have you seen been changing the last year?
Well, the barrier to actually entry or using the online systems to order anything. Before that, we used to, yes, I want to get something, then I have to go physically to the store and I will have to process it that way. But this kind of consumer education, the mindset has changed. Right now, it's like I want something, I'm accepting that I could actually get it online in the same quality and the same way that I could get it physically in the store. And that behavior has changed, and I don't think it will return back to before. Even after the pandemic, I still think that people will still order online, including ordering furniture, including ordering food, clothes, everything, from even gifts to the last thing. So I see that we have been forced and directed in that direction, that we accept technology as a medium or an easier medium to actually get what we need as consumers.
In that regard, let me ask you, I know that Zoo focuses mostly on food and beverage. Are you considering maybe reaching out to clients also in those kind of sectors like furniture and etc.? Because in Egypt, we saw during the pandemic, there are actually some startups that are pushing towards this as well. Some local carpenters have been searching for opportunities to work with other startups that would allow them to reach, larger audiences through online. Is Zoo considering expanding from food and beverages?
Yes, well, you see, the thing is that we're taking any business sector that actually have an item with a single description or something. So if you go to e-commerce, which consists, for example, of electronics or furniture and so on, then you will need to make more features in the product to allow more variance in terms of the sizes, the colors, and so on and so on. So having to divert the product in that direction, of course, it's much bigger, wider, and so on. But I would say that at the moment we're focusing only on this sector, which is the consumer sector for the food and beverage, because this generates a very big volume and the scale is huge. And of course, you can service so many countries in it. So at the moment, we're focusing on this direction. But of course, our platform could be used for any business sector because it's very dynamic. You can rename a lot of sliders and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But as a company focusing, that would be our focus.
Okay. When in regards to what I was talking about with like the carpenters and etc., let's talk a little bit about digital literacy. Have you? I know that Zoo tries to make the user experience as easy as possible to create their website, to create their apps for delivery. How common is it that you will find people, especially Egyptian businesses that are trying to go online, having problems understanding how it works, what to do in terms of going online and etc.?
Well, we have this kind of challenge still because in many businesses, like a person who would actually handle the online operations is not really defined yet. So we are having these challenges with small businesses, but with bigger businesses with multiple branches, we don't have this problem.
Mm-hmm.
But with small businesses, yes. However, we try to automate our system as much as possible. Like as of today, once the person will go to a website, few clicks, his website automatically created, and even we have demo stores already there with the products, so the user will be able to get acquainted and make it as easy as possible. Also, we create videos and so on. So we are trying to tackle the consumer education problem. We are aware of it. We're trying to tackle it as much as possible.
Okay, perfect. And so let's talk Egypt and entrepreneurship. So I know that you've been an entrepreneur since you were younger. Something about internet cafes, I believe, that you started out something like that.
I think I lost. I'm sorry, the connection was bad. Would you please repeat what you said?
Yes. I wanted to talk a little bit more about Egypt and entrepreneurship on the side. I know that you have experience as a two-time young startup founder in Egypt. What was your experience in Egypt as a young startup?
Well, right now, the challenges that we had 10 years ago when we started, it's not the same like it is right now. So we had challenges before is actually defining what is entrepreneurship. It's like when you meet someone, it's like, I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, yeah, like, do you have a job? Are you unemployed? So the challenges in the mindset, of course, was there. But you see, what have worked for me is that I started to surround myself with people from the community who actually share the same mindsets, same values, and so on. Then I was actually able to navigate my way through and actually understand that there are people who think the way I am, and try to involve someone who actually might not be familiar with what I'm saying to encourage me from what I'm doing. And one of the other challenges which I'm facing when I was back in Egypt and mentoring many startups was that many people are focusing on the funding as one thing. Like, I want to get funded, like, but instead of focusing on the funding at the beginning, just focus on actually proving the model, like getting the sales, like have proof that there is a problem that you're solving, and instead of focusing like, yeah, I read many companies raising money, and I should just focus on raising money without actually having the product or having to validate the market. So that's the thing that I would like to stress on.
Okay. And I know that back then, of course, like you mentioned, entrepreneurship, being a startup, it wasn't something that was really understood by, especially, of course, older business people. And of course, parents are usually a very big decision maker in Egypt in terms of when young entrepreneurs are trying to get into building a startup, building their own businesses. So let me ask you, you had those barriers previously. What other barriers, other than the idea of constantly funding is like the biggest thing needed, what other barriers do you think young entrepreneurs right now are facing in Egypt, especially with the ongoing pandemic?
Well, I think the challenge would be trying to tackle a very big problem that will bring you into clash with regulations. What I mean by that is that you're starting off your business, you're totally new, you're trying to start your own startup, but instead of starting your own startup and tackling other problems that could actually make you or allow you to navigate through the regulations without being stuck, is that you just go to say like, yes, I would like to start a money transfer company, for example. So you have to be hit with the financial regulations and all these things will discourage you. Besides that, it's very hard to find talent at the beginning of your company that actually have the expertise and the knowledge in development to actually help you build something really big. So comes from our culture is that we want to build so much big things in at the beginning that we start to overanalyze things and we start to see that, oh my god, this is very long road, and then we discourage ourselves from the start. So my recommendation would be try to find the problem, solve the problem, and when you're solving this problem, try to understand what kind of challenges, regulatory challenges that you will have to go through in order for you to actually visualize this problem into an actual product and go to the market. And I would like to say, like, money will follow. Just when you have the product, when you start to selling it, just get few clients so you can validate the idea, then money will follow. And you don't need a lot of money to actually reach the point of this idea or the product. And also the second thing, the challenge is that many engineers actually after they graduate, they still have the mindset of university project. What I mean by university project is that they will gather, let's build something, and they will keep building forever. They will not actually come up with a minimum viable product that works to actually test the model. So instead of, in my opinion, every team of engineers needs to have the business guy who actually would sell this product, and they need to have the product and then not continuously, endlessly development cycle that I have seen in many places. Is that what are you doing? We're still developing. How long have you been developing? 2 years. Wow. It should take you 2 months to come up with just an app or a software to sell it and validate it first, and then continue to build.
Let me ask, did you have that same challenge when you were starting out as well? And how were you able to really push yourself out of that mindset?
Yes, of course. I have this challenge, and we still have it until today when we hire new people to our company. Like people trying to build everything all at the same time or want so much. And also I see it was the clients. When we get a new client who is using our system, he say, I want to build this. The thing is that how I tackle it is that I use like the MVP kind of mentality, which means that like you want to make, for example, this kind of behavior or this kind of result, you make it with the minimum effort. With the minimum effort, you make it and you validate it. So you give it to the customers to try it. And from then they give you the feedback, then you start to iterate, and then you start to make some changes and so on. And instead of building the whole thing and then at the end you present it and say like, no, that's not what we want, and you have to waste it. So that's how I would tackle it, just following the MVP, like minimum viable product, making small thing just to do exact this job, and then feedback, and then change again.
Okay, so let's also talk about, let's return back to Zoo, your company. It was originally a delivery app, and I know that you've moved now towards, rather than B2C, now you're now B2B as a software as a service company. So what made you decide to shift towards B2B rather than B2C?
Well, operational costs and competition has been always a challenge, because in order for us to actually operate on the ground, we had to equip couriers, we had to manage a lot of things on the ground and so on. So we have been burning a lot of cash operating as a food delivery app by ourselves. But we had great technology. You know, we had a great technology, but we were burning a lot of money in operations, and also customer acquisition cost had became very, very high due to competition, because like big companies coming with millions of funding and they spend the money. So we just thought like, okay, you know what? We have built a great technology. Why are we still in that on the ground operations? Why don't we start offering those technologies to people who would like to enter those markets? Because you see, at the beginning, it was like obvious, but I was like, let's try to do that. And once we did that, actually, that's when the company started to grow rapidly. Is that we had great systems and we were in a market that is full of competition. However, if you go to Latin America, there is no competition. If you go to somewhere, some places in Africa, there's no competition. Some places in Asia, because the big players are not covering the whole world yet. So there are a lot of markets which are still under development, on untapped markets. And with our technology, we're giving opportunities for entrepreneurs in those markets to actually start their own business. And that's what we have been doing, and we catch the growth immediately. We saw the growth immediately, and we started to keep growing. And right now we are like in 64 countries. Yes.
Let's return a little bit to the competition in Egypt. Because of the pandemic, we heard big players like Uber. So Uber Eats actually withdrew from Egypt because of the pandemic. Did you ever feel that any of your clients, specifically in Egypt or in the Middle East, had that kind of pressure as well because of the pandemic, even though, as you said earlier, delivery technically during the pandemic has actually boomed. A lot more people have been going to delivery, but then why are these major companies with big budgets, big backing, are actually getting out of the market? Like, how do you feel about that?
I think because of the customer acquisition cost, again, that operational cost and customer acquisition cost, and the market itself have huge competitions like already happening right now. And I can tell you example, just a few days ago, I received a request from a person who managed few restaurants, is that they decided to open their own marketplace for these restaurants because they are tired of paying 30% for the marketplace such as Uber Eats and Glovo and others. So restaurants are suffering due to the pandemic. The clients are also suffering due to losing their jobs and so on. And at the same time, the marketplaces are charging 30% for every order from them. So this triangle, this equation is not working well for anybody. And therefore, the direction right now of the store owners or restaurant owners to actually get back the power into their own hands, have their own app, retain their customers, and manage the delivery operations on their own. And also it's cheaper for the customer, because if the customer will find the same offer on Glovo, for example, that costs X, but it costs X minus 2 on the restaurant itself app, the customer will go to restaurant itself app because it saves him money, and he also understands that he's doing some social thing, that he's investing directly to the restaurant instead of using the marketplace. So I think it's the purchase power, of course, and the market size, and the cost of customer acquisition. Cost of customer acquisition in Egypt is really high in that sense.
And do you see such a very big difference between Europe and Egypt in those terms? Is there a very big difference, or are they similar in that way?
Well, in Europe also, people, the restaurant owners are still suffering from the same thing, that paying high fees to the marketplaces, and there has been some kind of a lot of protest in the media also in Europe about that, and therefore it comes the idea of actually why not every restaurant has their own delivery system? Why is that? Even if they don't have couriers or anything, they still can outsource to a last mile delivery company to deliver. And also, second thing is that there is a direction which I think it will happen. I already kind of see that it's happening in some countries, is that those food delivery apps will not be free anymore for consumers to use. They will think that they will say, in order for you to use Uber Eats, you will have to actually subscribe to Uber Eats for like, I don't know, $10 a month or something. So you'll be able to actually start using the app. So the reason why the marketplaces started to put this kind of monthly subscription is because on the other hand, they cannot charge the restaurants anymore those 30%, because the restaurants are suffering, but at the same time they have their own costs. So they said, okay, let's put it on the customer and offer and ask the customer to actually pay a subscription fee of 10 euros or something to be able to use the app. And of course, the customer will not be happy about it, but then the restaurant will have their own website, so the customer will go directly to order from the restaurant website because it's cheaper and it doesn't have to pay for this subscription. Because also surveys showed that like maybe over 90% of the customers who used delivery apps to order, they order from maximum 2 or 3 restaurants all the time. So actually, when you go to the food delivery app or any other app, you see that you're gonna order from that place, and you know that. So if that place actually will have their own app that is cheaper for you to order, you would definitely go directly to there. And big brands already started doing that, including McDonald's, Doodoo Pizza, His
Yeah.
Burger, Burger King. They already started pushing their apps right now.
Then let me ask, so don't you feel that that's a little bit counterintuitive then, that these major players in the delivery apps would do something like that? I mean, as far as we've heard in recent weeks, some major players are already considering a subscription-based model, but not towards consumers, but towards the restaurants itself, hoping to further develop a better relationship with restaurants, because like you said, the restaurants are already complaining, not just in Europe, but of course in Egypt as well and in the Middle East, because of these high commissions. But don't you feel it would be counterintuitive to do the subscription-based model towards consumers rather than business?
Well, from my experience and what I have seen is that we have clients from Latin America that actually requested to have the subscription on the customers as well, not only their restaurants. And that's where came the information from me, specifically in Peru. This is one of our clients in Peru that we have built for them this subscription for the clients. And also there is another request that we got from Mexico was actually to add service fee on every order. And these service fee are completely just for the platform, just for the earning of the platform. So you see, I see that the same problem is tackled differently in different markets. And as you mentioned in Egypt, like they were saying, okay, in order for you as a restaurant to exist on our platform, then we will charge you a monthly fee and monthly subscription fee. This is okay, but I think it won't be enough because those marketplaces are burning a lot of cash. And it doesn't matter how much you'll actually charge as a fixed monthly fee from a restaurant, it will never cover the costs that you used to get before from every order. Because when you charge every order 30%, it's like recurring revenue. But if you have the monthly fee, regardless of how many orders that you get, then you reduce your earnings significantly. And I don't think that would be for a long time.
Okay. And based on your experience, when it comes to Egyptian consumers, B2C wise, how do you feel they would react to these kind of different models?
I think, well, knowing us, and I'm Egyptian as well, I don't think this will be welcomed in terms of like, I have like the mindset would be like, I have been using the food app, just opening the app, browsing restaurant, deciding to order or not without the need to pay. But right now I have to pay for it. This is like, I don't think it will be welcomed by the majority of the people. And I think that would be the chance for actually restaurants to start reaching out to their loyal customers and tell them, forget about that. Here's our own website. Come order from us directly and you will get the discounts and so on. And you don't have to pay any subscription. And I think with time, the maturity and understanding of the consumer behavior will actually divert that it will be a new normal to say like, okay, why this store provider or restaurant, why they don't have their own website? Why I cannot go directly to them? Why I have to go through some third-party service? I think with time, this mindset will shift.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've been loving your comments. So let's just let me ask you now, with everything that's happening, what are Zoo's plans for 2021?
Well, the plan right now is to expand as fast as possible, as strong as possible, enter as many new markets as possible. The main challenges we have in every market would come to, again, payment. It's always payment, specifically in Africa, especially in Africa, is that the payment is a challenge, but we try to tap the underdeveloped markets because there is no competition there and entrepreneurs can actually start to build things either in pharmacy delivery or food or grocery delivery. So that's our plan actually to start to make the awareness, to raise the awareness of the idea that you can take power back into your own hands. And just for your information, our web ordering system is free of charge for business owners. So we actually charge for extra plugins, but the product itself, to actually have your own website, put products and start selling, is completely for free. So any business owner today can actually have their own website in few clicks and start selling free of charge.
Well, I mean, that's going to be great. And as you said, hopefully restaurants will start taking the power back and controlling how they reach out to consumers and hopefully maybe save on commissions. One last question. You're talking about untapped markets and etc. What's your current favorite untapped market in terms of delivery?
Latin America, I love it. Latin America, it's amazing place. I mean, like, well, I've been obsessed before with Colombia, but that doesn't mean that I'm biased a little bit. But we have seen a lot of growth in Latin America. Is that the mindset is very similar to us as like Egyptians and Arabs, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
able actually to communicate with the customers. And in Latin America, you solve real problems that actually you don't face them in Europe. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have a real challenges in Latin America in terms of operations. I mean, operations wise is that you have to tackle a lot of challenges in operations on the ground because mostly it's like cash and also some other challenges connecting to same people using different different people using same account to place orders, and it's a lot of challenges. So my favorite market will be Latin America at the moment. We try to grow as fast as possible over there, and we are growing also a lot on the other side in Malaysia. In Malaysia, we have many clients in many cities in Malaysia using our system.
Okay, perfect. So before we end our call, and you have been so helpful, I'm sure our viewers are, listening with bated breath. You've been providing a lot of really great insights, specifically with your experience, going in from Europe and Egypt and the Middle East. So I just want to ask, do you have any last words for our viewers before we end our interview?
Well, if our viewers are entrepreneurs, and I think they are, is that I would love if when you're starting off, you try to simplify things. You try to solve the problem the easiest way, the simplest way, without much resources, so you can validate it in the market. And once you validate it and you have some traction in your hands, everything else will just start to follow. You will find investors. You will start to get into accelerator programs and so on, and you will be able to grow. So that would be my last thing I would say.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. And we're excited to hear a little bit more about Zoo in the future, especially in 2021. And we hope you have a great day. This is Christine Salzman for Business Today Egypt. Have a lovely day, everyone.
Thank you.